Hello, everybody, and after a long hiatus, we're going to possibly get back into a little bit of Megamek. I did a little poll and see if you guys would rather me do some Merc Tech or if you'd rather see me go back to Megamek. And Megamek 1, we're probably not going to continue with the Marlowe Stingrays, at least not at first. I'd had an idea for a new campaign for something I'm calling Jade Dawn, but it's been years since I've played Megamek, and there's been updates, I'm sure. Matter of fact, I know. So I figured while we're doing this, and also in the before times, I remember I was going to make some video tutorials for Megamek itself. So why not start here? Give me a chance to refamiliarize myself with this, and also kind of get things set up for that campaign like I wanted to do. I wanted to start with actual Megamek itself, and actually go through and actually teach you guys how to play BattleTech, basically the same way I learned how to play BattleTech back in the many years ago. But there is, in the current, at least the version I have of Megamek, the against the bot part of everything, where the computer actually plays the opponents, isn't functioning properly. I'm in a development, what do they call it? I'm in the development build instead of the milestone build. The milestone is basically your stable build. So, minor issue. It's probably going to get fixed. It's a known issue. They're going to get it worked out. But the problem is the enemy AI. Like, everything works properly until it comes time for the enemy AI to fire at you. And then if they're using an ammunition-based weapon, they can't because they don't have a trailer attached to them, which mechs normally don't. Most things normally don't have a trailer attached to them. Laser weapons apparently work fine, but that'll get patched out. So I'm going to actually have to start with the campaign part of this. So we're going to actually create a campaign just for testing purposes. Basically, we're going to make a unit. We're going to do a single campaign, just finish out one contract, see how it all works together. We'll have some fun with it, sure. Along the way, I'm sure. But this is actually kind of a second attempt at making this video because, well, first of all, I want to get in here. Let's go ahead and get this turned on. Well, one thing I want to point out, when you actually download this, up here in Docs, and then you have Against the Bot, there actually is a very good kind of a starter guide, a tutorial, if you will, that kind of explains all of the settings and how to ever get things set up. Very beginner friendly. It's a lot better than it was back when we were doing it back, how long ago? Like 7 years ago, 8 years ago. So they've done a lot of work with this stuff. And there's a lot of conveniences that it's all built in now, which we're going to go over. But in my first attempt at this, I was kind of going into it in depth ad nauseum, almost reading this to you. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to just go through every single option and just talk about it, because it's boring. I had like a 2-hour long thing, which it wasn't good. It was not good. So let's go into, and we're just going to kind of not speed run it. I will talk about it a little bit briefly, talk about each screen, and actually get us into a unit creation. We'll create a unit, and we'll also get our first campaign set up and moved forward, at least to the point to where a first battle can happen. At that point, we can't do the battle, so it would be a good stopping point. So we'll double click here on the Mech HQ. Now, as far as I know, if I was playing against a human player, it would be fine, because presumably the human player knows it can fire ammunition weapons without a trailer. We'll go ahead and start a new campaign. Once this loads up, it's going to come up with a screen with some preset options. I'm going to go ahead. The starter guide is, I guess, the beginner guide if you want to go based off of what that documentation is. We'll just go with the official options. But there's a lot of, I have not really looked at this in depth. But there's some interesting starting scenarios and options. But the thing is, you can go in and set most of this yourself. So let's go ahead and click on the optional. As far as the date I want to start at, just for the sake of having just some toys to play with, I'm going to go this up to approximately the end of the clan invasion area before the FedCom Civil War, say 62. would be good. Maybe the 20th. And that's just one of my favorite areas. The area between, well, from the initial clan invasion into like the FedCom Civil War, the way the factions, kind of play off each other, and also just the technology level is where, I don't know, that's just my favorite area. Let's just call it that. Okay. Defaulted up here to that. Let's go down to general first. First, we want to basically name our company. I'm going to just call it the Questing Gunners, because that sounds stupid. Faction you start with. This does actually affect a lot of like these, like the tables that you'll be rolling on and so forth. But you can choose any faction you want to play as. Now, when you do this, like I could be Free Worlds League. Up here, you got the clans. It could be any clan you want. Does it have Wolverine by any chance? I wonder. I don't see him. In any case, mercenary is the kind of the basic default of pretty much BattleTech itself. Is expected you to be a mercenary. But when you do pick, for example, a faction, we'll talk about it a little bit when I get into those screens. But there's settings you'll want to like change to, be that faction, as opposed to having to pay for everything yourself as a mercenary. But you have the unit rating method. I don't mess with this at all. I don't really understand it that well. Camos. I don't know why I popped that up. Go away. You have your whole selection of camos. You can also add your own. I'm not exactly sure how you do it, but you just basically add it to in the files there where it would go. The one I picked last time I kind of liked was it Solaris Stables? I don't think it was. Miscellaneous, maybe? Yeah, miscellaneous. Solaris City Police Department. Kind of looked cool. And unit icon. I don't have one special for this, so I'll just use this Falcon one because it's kind of blue and white like we picked for the other. Did it pick it? Oh, I gotta put it down here. Press OK. There we go. All right, and that's the very bare bones minimum. So let's go into like all this other stuff here. Repair and maintenance. This is going to. A lot of these cases you can like hover over the thing and it'll give you a little bit of tooltip, explains exactly what it is. You don't. Also, he gives advice on how to change stuff if you want to. For what I'm going to change for this. So when you assign a tech to a mech, I would like him to be at the top of the list just because it's his mech, it's his baby. So if it needs repairs, I would like to see him up at the top. This is similar, but it's like after you have used a technician to repair a mech, he'll go up to the top. I would rather keep the things a little bit more sorted than that. Don't need that, don't need that. Damage, destroy parts by error, margin of failure. 3 is fine. Equipment hit in combat survives on a roll of 10 plus or better. This is kind of cool. I didn't know this was a thing. He recommends going down a little bit, but for demonstration purposes, we'll leave that at 10. Maintenance checks is kind of a cool thing. Of note here, I'm going to change the reverse equality names. For whatever reason in BattleTech, A is worse. A is bad, and then F is the best. That's backwards from the way I would think about it. So they have this option here to reverse it, which I have done. And the maintenance checks is every 30 days. Your assigned mechanic will check your mech to see if it takes any damage or not. Basically, it's kind of preventative maintenance, think of it. And if it fails, then it's supposed to lower the quality level of that part. And at that point, if the way I understand this, anyway, that's what it does. And he checks all the parts. And down here, only damage parts that are already worse quality. So if it gets down to F and then he fails to roll again, then you start damaging the part and need to fix and or replace it. Random new quality, that's fine. Use quality modifiers and maintenance checks, that's, I guess, fine. Okay. I think that's how I'm going to keep it for now. Supplies and acquisition. There's two kinds of acquisition. This is more of a global up here, what this is talking about. This is more advanced, I suppose. I'm going to turn off the advanced for now. What this does is every time you're trying to find a a piece of equipment to, you know, like you need to, like I need to, let's say I need to get a left arm for a, you know, 25-ton mech, and I don't have one on stock for whatever reason. I can order one, or at least I can have my guy try to start finding one, and he'll go out and he can do so many checks. He has a waiting period, so every day he can do his checks, and if he succeeds in the acquisition role, that's when you go over here to delivery, and this is how much time it's going to take. So, and there are other modifiers here. Like if he's trying to find clan equipment, it's harder to do because it's clan equipment. And this is how many attempts or how many acquisitions he can do per admin level every day, max. So if I have like this long list and he's only like a level 1 administrator, it's going to take a while for him to find everything. What I don't know is like if he fails, like, you know, he has like a list of 10 long and he fails the first 2, if he'll go on to the next 2 and try to get those. I'm not sure on that. But anyway, going over here to delivery time, this is how long it will take. Once he finally finds it, this is how long it'll take. By default, we're looking at 2d6 days. So anywhere between 2 and 12 days, basically. The minimum transit time is 1 day, and that's relevant because of what's below it. Whenever he goes to find the item, of course, the 2d6 is rolled randomly. Let's say he rolls a 2. All right. But when he goes to find the item, let's say he needs to roll an 8, and he rolls a 10, so he has a margin of success of 2. By the second rule, that would lower the time of transit by 2 days, but the middle number is it's a minimum of 1 day. So instead of being like instant, it'll just be 1 day. And that's what this delivery type of here is. Down here, it actually makes everything a lot more localized. It's actually a lot harder to find stuff. It's very interesting, but for purposes of just demonstration, we're not going to deal with that right now. Maybe I will revisit this when we start actually setting up a, you know, more long-term campaign. Okay, and on this window, what we're mostly setting is just how we want technology to work. So throughout the history of the Battletech universe, going from the Star Lake all the way up into the Elcan era, you'll have certain weapon systems and certain mechs that kind of, you know, they are invented, and then, you know, in the case of like the Succession Wars, they go extinct and they're no longer around. So what this window does is basically lets you say exactly how you want that to work. You can make it so that everything is, you know, no holds barred. Everything's available at any date, or you could limit it even further. At least within the bounds of this. I'm not going to change anything because right now we're just doing this for demonstration purposes anyway. Personnel, and it also kind of goes into life paths as well, but. Personnel is really going in depth how all the characters in your unit, you know, advance, what history is tracked, how exactly they work, what is available to them. This is very extensive, and matter of fact, there's even more than this. You got a little scroll bar down here. Really getting down into like, you know, their salary. You can really get into how they're paid, you know, with this down here, you know, how much money, yeah. Which is good information to know, although I don't know if I would want to mess with that, but you may. Some of this stuff, dependents, prisoners, this is stuff that we'd have to do by ourselves. Awards is something new. I'm actually going to turn that on because that sounds kind of cool. And we'll also issue them posthumously because, you know, if they die, they die. If they die, they die. Medical. This near the end of the last campaign I did, there was actually rules, written rules for this advanced. Apparently now they've put this in as standard, which is kind of cool because I really like that system more than just the normal way that works. But other than turning on awards, I'm not going to change anything else here. I don't believe. Oh, actually, this I am. I don't see a reason not to track all that stuff. It's kind of cool information to have, although not really that relevant. And we'll log this stuff too. Why not? All right. Life Paths goes even deeper into some of this stuff, like the origin of the character, you know, where they're from, when they get married, how far into the family tree do you track? And also like the anniversaries. Like if you want to know everybody's birthdays, you turn off officers. If you don't even want to know officers' birthdays, you turn that on. If you don't want to know anybody's, you turn that off, all of it off. And then you have the coming of age, people that are under 18. This will override all this up down and just let you know, hey, this guy is now 18. I'm not going to mess too much with this, other than just kind of scroll through and just let you see it. Random prisoner marriage. Education. I'm not sure if this works yet, so I'm just going to leave it as default. So we're probably not going to mess with this too much. But it's pretty extensive, and I think they're adding even more to it from what little I've seen. Turnover and retention. This was in the base rule, at least the written rules as well. I'm not going to enable it now because it's a lot, and it's a lot to keep track of, and having your unit, like personnel, like rotate through randomly, at least for this for right now, I'm not wanting to deal with. Finances, what all do you pay for? It's basically what this is about. And this is one of these windows that if you're wanting to play as, for example, a Steiner, house unit, you would mess with this. You wouldn't be paying for some of this stuff, and whereas other stuff you might be. You have multipliers as well. But this is definitely one of these things where you could really set yourself up as a unit that actually has like stuff gets requisitioned to them through the normal supply chains. Mercenary, how you're getting paid. And what it's based off of. This is a very short window, small window, although important because it's if you're playing a mercenary, you want to get paid. Although I think the defaults here are fine. That would be nice, but not really necessary. Okay, experience. What this does, this window has two points. The first point is it's showing you how many experience points you get for different reasons. So every time you complete a scenario, 1 experience. You get 1 experience every time you get a kill. For things that aren't combat related, for example, your technicians, they'll get 1 experience for every 25 successful tasks. They'll also get 1 experience point for each 12 or 2 they roll on a task, which is a critical. I'm not sure if that's a critical, success or not. It might be. A 2 I know is. Well, even 2, I don't know if it's a. What I'm talking about is like you can have like something that is a difficulty of 13. I don't know if you roll a 12 if that automatically succeeds, even though it was a 13 needed. Same with down here. You could have stuff that's just automatic, but if you rolled a 2, would it still fail? I don't know if it's like a critical hit, critical miss. I don't think it is. So I think if it's like a 0 and you rolled a 2, it says here unsuccessful task. So if you rolled a 2 and still succeeded, you wouldn't get this XP point. But this is kind of like learning by failure and learning by success. You get 1 XP every 2 months if you roll 10 or higher on a 2d6. So some people will randomly get XP every couple months. You get 2 XP for negotiator for a new contract. I'm not sure what that applies to. 1 XP for every Monday. Oh, for each so each administrator basically gets 1 XP every month. And then this is how much XP 1 edge point costs. So this is a little bit reversed. It's not, you don't get 10 XP for getting an edge point. You pay 10 XP to get an edge point, which edge points we'll get into later. And down here is basically a summary of you'd find out what your current level is, and then how much XP it is to get up to the next level. So if I have a piloting of just a 2, to go up to a 3, I would have to pay 5 experience. To go up to 4, 10, and so on and so forth, all the way up to here to. Well, apparently you can't get up to 9 or 10, but you could set this up to where you could do that if you wanted to. Like down here, tactics and strategy, it isn't actually a thing that is allowed. So and leadership. That's experience. Skills, as far as I could tell, this is telling you what the base number is without any skills, and then what category, like if you're considered green, irregular, veteran, or elite, how many points in that skill you need in order to be considered that, more or less. These numbers seem way high to me. I'm going to leave them alone for now, though. Just leave it all default. SPR is special pilot abilities. This is kind of a cool system. If you get a lot of XP and you don't want to get skills for whatever reason, you can save up and actually get like these special skills. For example, a blind fighter. A pilot with this ability does not suffer the initial -1 due to darkness. So he'd be a really good night fighter. Costs 60, and he needs to have one of these prerequisites to be able to get it. There's a bunch of them here. I'm not going to go over it at length. And it's possible like your characters will actually start out with some of these. Melee specialists, but just gotta scroll down. But that's those. Very cool. Skill randomization. I assume this is when they're drawn up. When they're first rolled up, this is Greek to me. I really don't know what's going on here. I never looked that closely at it, and for the most part, it doesn't really. It's not something I'm going to mess with ever. I don't think. I'm just going to trust that the defaults are correct. Rank system. This doesn't have a whole lot of effect per se. The higher their rank, the more they get paid. There's a pay multiplier associated with it. And you could also like set your own ranking system all the way, from E0 to, Star-Lord apparently. So, but O20. There's presets. Most mercenary units uses the default Star League Defense Force ranking system, but you could go. Kurita has a weird one. Here Capellan does too. So instead of having privates and sergeants, whatever, you have whatever these are. And also the naval ranks, you can change it by what they are even. So the warrior. What do the warrior harassers do? It's different. Nothing that I can tell. Let's go back down to clan probably. Well, you have 0.1 through 5 warrior. I don't think the points outrank a warrior, but I think it's just the way they use this. Point commander. That would be for an elemental. Star commander, Nova commander, so on and so forth, all the way up to Ilkhan. They don't get a Star-Lord. That gets paid 167,000 times what they normally would get paid. Or not 167,000, 167 times. Anyway, let's go back to Normalville here. Star League Defense Force. Pretty simple. You can make your own. You can make your own all this. You can choose which ones are considered officers and not. Let's go into name and portrait generation. This is more or less not going to change much. You can set your unit to have names from a certain area. So if you picked Dracona's Combine, for example, all your characters are probably going to be named probably something Japanese. We're going to leave this as general. Or actually, we're going to use the origin, which is still going to default to general because we're mercenaries and we get people from everywhere. But you can also choose which roles actually get randomly generated portraits if you want to. With this current default setup, just everybody's going to get them. So. Let's see, markets. What are we doing with the markets here? Okay, this is generally what did he recommend? I think it was Dylan's method. This is how the markets are populated. So if we need to get more people, if you want to get new mechs, or if when we're wanting to get new contracts, These are options that detail or influence how many people are available, what their levels are, what mechs are generated, what kind of contracts might be available to you. And he recommended a good default is Dylan's method using 0.5 weight instead of the default 0.3. So that's what I'm going to go with here. Random assignment tables, I'm not going to mess with this too much, but you could, if you wanted to, have a very specific random table for your campaign. So only certain types of units will show up in like the enemy forces or even your own forces. Against the bot rules are specific to the against the bot rules. You have a skill level, which I'm not entirely sure what changes. If you want to use aerospace, we're not going to use aerospace. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off just so that doesn't populate in the things. But if you want to use aerospace fighters or have them available to the enemy, you can do that. Use vehicles. There's a whole bunch of them here. We're going to leave most of these as is, although there is one other change I was wanting to make. Well, he recommends turning off chase scenarios, and it probably is for the best. Just chase scenarios are very strange scenarios, which we'll probably get into at some point, because I'm probably going to leave those on for the main campaigns. We'll see. The other thing I wanted to change, going through here real quick, where was it? Oh, up here. Opt for lance type ratios. This, by the way the Battletech universe works, this is probably a correct ratio. And what this means is, basically when the game is wanting to roll up a random enemy for me to fight, every lance will get rolled basically a 1d, in this case a 1d6. On a 1, it'll be a mech lance, all mechs. On a 2, it'll be a mixture of mechs or actually on a 2 and 3, it'll be a mixture of mechs and vehicles. And then on a 4, 5, 6, it'll just be a vehicle lance. I like fighting mechs. I'm not going to turn off vehicles, but what I am going to do is change this around just a tad. I'm going to turn this down to 1. I'm going to turn this up to 3 and this up to 2. So just kind of flip it around a little bit. There's still going to be quite a number of vehicles with this, 3 a chance of this, but mechs are more fun to fight. Let's just be honest. And that is the last thing I'm going to change, at least for the default. So let's go ahead and confirm all these. And let's pop up our unit. Now, right now, our unit doesn't have a whole lot going on with it. So yeah, we have our personnel market, unit markets, and all that. So we can turn that on now to see what's available to us if we wanted to buy it. We don't have any money yet because we've not actually generated our unit, but we'll only have 3.5 million. But this is what was randomly generated. And again, that one window would have potentially altered what's available here. Same with the personnel market. This is who's available. We have 2 mech warriors and a proto-mech pilot. Okay. I might want to go into the settings and fix that at some point. Well, not for this, but it's kind of funny. And these are the contracts we're going to have available. We got a Free Worlds League objective raid against the Compelling Confederation. And then we have a Lion Alliance fighting the Clan Wolf in Exile, a recon raid. Probably don't want to do the clan thing just yet, but first things first, we need a unit. So let's go up here to Manage Campaign, and this is something new. This wasn't available. This is something we had to do manually before, but we can push this company generator. Brings this up. There's 2 different company generation methods. We're going to use Windchild. We're going to generate a mercenary faction. I'm going to go and click this and have a command lance, and he's going to have 1 company of mechs, no individual units that are separate from that, and then we're going to have 3 lances per company, which is standard for Inner Sphere, and then each lance will have 4 battle mechs. Now you can change this, like if I wanted to be clan, instead of saying lances per company, we would say, it wouldn't say this, but we would say, well, I want a binary. So then but to change this to 2, and I would change this to 5, and then it would generate me a binary. And and in this case up here, if I wanted to generate a command star, I would also get me one more additional mech. This is all designed for Inner Sphere, but that is a way you could, modify it for yourself. What's a Star League? This is the year to use when rolling for Star League. Okay, leave that alone. Random origins are fine. I don't think I want to really change anything else in here, but there is a number of options. You could really get into the weeds on how you want to actually set up your unit, which I love. And also there's like some almost sneak peeks over here of stuff that might be coming in the future. It's really cool. Force naming method, it's fine. We're also going to start with 12 mech techs, a doctor, 1 command, 1 HR, 1 transport, and 2 logistics guys. As far as I could tell, there is no way to start with like random vehicle lances or anything like that. But that's cool. I mean, for our first thing, we're not going to worry too much about this. The starting simulation stuff is something that's also new. I don't think it's even going to really apply to us here. Well, it might. I do know that happens. Let's just generate and see what happens. We can apply all this, immediately complete all remaining generation, and apply the changes to this campaign. Do. And we have people, we have stuff. Now let's look at it. This window here is really kind of an overview. It's going to be very useful in the future. For now, we want to look at our unit. And we have our command lance, and we have a company with the three lances, just like we set up. For our command lance, we have looks like an awesome, a battle master, an Osterok, and a crusader. It's chosen a racetrack here, Nox Megamek, as basically our commander. And that's why he's applied him as a major. And as the company commander, his skills in leadership, tactics, and also eventually strategy and so forth will also affect what he can do as far as like how many lances he can command and certain bonuses you'll get in various places. He's from Ingress, 28 years old. Let's see if I can move this a little bit or see it better. A lot of this stuff isn't going to show up because he's just generated, so he has he's not earned any money with this unit yet, and so forth. Active, very cool, very cool. This is his abilities. This is also like where his special ability. He's tactical genius. He's not injured, so right now we have Chick Crover. He has all weather. He's from Sarna, Colossus. He's married to Deborah Hambone Witter, who was probably in one of these other units. Yeah, she's down here. The Taskmaster, who's married and also has a kid. So she, 25, her spouse is a mech tech, and their kid is 0-year-old, just born, already has 3 experience. And she was born on Galtea, so that's her origin as a mercenary. Unreliable. Not very loyal kid. But dependents will come and go. Looks like we got several. Are these all kids? 1-year-old, 0-year-old, 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 yeah. So we ended up with 4 kids. Anywho, Able Lance. Got a Grasshopper, Guillotine, Merlin, and Wolf Trap. Baker Lance has a Dervish, Hunchback, Whitworth, and Vulcan. And then Charlie Lance looks like a Phoenix Hawk, a Stinger, Javelin, and Firestarter. So that would be more of like a Scout Lance, it looks like. This would probably be a little bit more of a fast attack. You could probably use it for Scout or Battle. This is definitely like a heavy, attack lance. And then ours would be either attacker or defensive, lance, as befitting a command lance. And now, for each lance, it also went ahead and picked like the best candidate to be the captain, who also has tactics and strategy. Well, she has a lot of tactics. Ooh, wow. She's really good. But you can change a lot of, like, if you want to change the call sign or give them their own, you can change that. You can also like change the names of all these lances. I think you can even change their names. You can't do it from here though. You have to go here. Yeah, well, I guess she's probably the company commander, like the overall company commander, whereas you, as the major, you're the unit commander. So she's the second in command. That's why she's so good. And then the two lieutenants are the commanders of the other two lances. But yeah, here you can change their rank. There is no real price to doing this, as far as I can tell. You can change the rank system for individual people if you want to. You can give them awards. So I think she's like 30 something. So she's probably been around long enough to get. She's probably around for the War 3057. So before I do this, let me expand this out and I can show you. So right now she has 2 experience. Yeah, she's 32, so she was obviously there, or could have been there. So if we gave her that award, she does get an extra XP. She gets a little ribbon down here, and she gets a little medal here. There's all kinds of different medals. This is that award system. I've not really looked into it in depth, but it's really kind of a cool thing, I think. Combat action in a scenario. Purple heart if you're hurt. And I think I set it up to where it automatically gives you all of this stuff. So the briefing room, this is where we're going to look closer at our contracts in just a minute. The interstellar map, we start in Galtea. I don't know if you can change where you start. You might be able to. That's all of the inner sphere and beyond. Let's see here. Personnel, we were just there at that window. This lets you into like seeing everybody, including your administrators, dependents, like we saw, your doctor. You can also change a lot of things about your personnel here. Hangars, where you can also do the same thing just with your mechs. You would also see your extra mechs down here that aren't assigned to a unit. Warehouse is all of your extra parts, spare parts. You start with a pretty generous supply of a bunch of stuff that's relevant to your company. Repair bay, right now there's no issues, so they aren't populating anything, but this is where you'll do all your repairs and swapping out of broken equipment and so forth. Oh, that reminds me, over here in the hangar, each mech also has already been assigned a tech to take care of it. So that's automatic. You don't have to do it automatically, and you can also change this anytime, but you do that from the hangar here. Infirmary, this is where our doctor resides. We don't have anybody hurt right now, so it doesn't really matter. Where did my mouse go? There he is. MacLeod is just where you would change out like the basic. This is where you do a lot of like the modifications to mechs. That's something I don't mess around a lot with, but this is where you would do that. I think you have to load it. It says no mech loaded. I don't know exactly how you load it in. So you do it here. I don't see it. It doesn't mean it ain't there. It just means I ain't see it. Oh, wait, right here, customize. So you can do a refit kit, or you can customize it in the MacLeod. So if I took this Ostrock over there, it's in the MacLeod now. Now I could change all the things about it if I wanted to. I don't want to, so I'll remove from the lab. Finances, keeps track of where all your money is, where it's coming in, where it's going out. Pretty self-explanatory. You can add funds if you're a GM, which right now we are in GM mode. Manage assets, which we're in GM mode, and then you can get a loan. Don't need a loan, but that's where you would do it, all from the finance tab. It's probably one we won't look at a whole lot, but for now, we need to grab ourselves a contract. So go up to Marketplace. I kind of already looked at this a little bit, but this is the button up here. You can do it if you don't want to do it from the log. So we want to go to Contract Market. There's these two. We have, like I said, the Lion against the Clan Wolf. The estimated profits, -2 million, which is interesting. Probably because of transport costs. Yeah, transport expenses is just so prohibitive to go all the way out there to do this. And we don't have any, like, we don't have our own jump ship or drop ship or anything like that. Contract pay is this much, 6.6 million. They pay based on the specifics of the contract. It's a 1 month contract, half overhead. Do they all have little tooltips? They do for this house thing. Keep positive, winning a non-initiated scenario plus 1 CVP, losing a non-initiated. What is a non-initiated? What's an initiated scenario? I wonder. You could scout the map StratCon. I'm very interested to see more about this StratCon. When before I had to kind of put a pause on all of this, and I became a truck driver. I was actually actively working on a way to incorporate StratCon and Battle Force into an against the bot type scenario. So much so I even started taking the books with me on the road, but it just was not possible to keep doing this. But I did develop like a couple like scenario ideas that I really want to like play test against the bot. In any event, if they've actually added StratCon to this in that capacity, I'm very interested. I don't think it's fully implemented yet. I do remember there's an option to mess with that when in the setup, but I'm very interested to know more about that. Transport terms, they pay 60% of our transportation, at least one way. It might be both ways. Salvage right up to 30% with exchange, which means like Clan Tech, they would give us Intersphere word. That's really bugging me because the word's like right there. Equivalent. The Intersphere equivalent. Jeez. Straight support is 0. Battle loss compensation only paying 20%. We have to have 2 lances. Fighting against the, well, it's not, it's Clans Wolves in Exile, but it's still the clans. This is a terrible contract. This is an absolutely abysmal contract, even if we were close. This one looks a lot better. Has a positive potential profit of 8.5 million. Free Worlds League against the Capellans. Transportation's expensive, but are they paying? They're paying 100% of it, so that helps. The overhead, they want us there for 5 months. Overhead compensation's half. Integrated command, what's that do? Your employer selects deployments from your TOE. Okay, that's interesting. I'm interested to see how that works out. 100% transportation, 60% salvage, 80% straight support, no battle loss compensation. We need at least 2 units. Total is 20. Transportation amount 10 million, so that does take, basically changes that, fixes that. Advance money, we would get paid a 5 million advance. Total monthly money, 75% of the contract pay. Oh, the 13 months is including our transit time. It's going to take us, it looks like 8 months to get to wherever this is. So this is how much that's going to cost us. This is how much we're going to get paid for the rest of our contract. Or, well, not for the contract, but for what? 3 million. Like if 25% contract pay is this, how is the additional 75% this? Unless that's monthly. That might be monthly. Yeah, monthly. Okay, monthly total. Okay. That makes more sense. Anywho, let's accept this. You also, as a GM, can actually just generate additional ones if you want to. But we're... Go fight the Jade Falcons. Yeah. We will do this one. 108. I think I said 106 days. Just accept it and just go. Just go. So here we have the briefing. We're supposed to go to Cindalore. Say when we need to be there by. We need to be there by July 4th. Just in time to celebrate. So let's mosey on that way. The best way to do that is probably going to be push this button here. And then we're going to calculate the jump path. Does it say when our arrival day is going to be? It does not, but it's 105 days from now. So 90 days would be approximately June 20th plus 15 days. It's pretty much right on the money, so we have to go now. I do want to go over here to the repair bay, and we're going to advance multiple days, which is done somewhere up here. Yeah, it's multiple days. Let's advance to a new month. Okay. Nothing was damaged. Had our paydays. Matter of fact, now that we've got paid, we probably should see that over here now, like total earnings. Yep. People will still probably also be getting experience randomly as well. Let's go to the next month. Okay, so far so good here. And you are seeing like some experience being added. Various people got experience, more paydays. Isn't going to generate contract because we're already en route. So let's go ahead and continue to the next month. We're on May. We want to go to June. Check the repair bay. Yep, here we've got some things starting to get damaged. We've got a fire starter. That's lower leg actuator has kind of gotten an issue. Just needs a little bit of repair. Let's go ahead and go into extra time. Makes the target number a lot easier. And we're not in a hurry. So even though this guy is green, well, he's a green, not only is he green here, he's a green dude. Has a target number of 8, so it's getting a -3 for the extra time, but a +3 because this is an F quality. Basically, this thing is degraded to the point that it's not great. And if he rolls a 5, if he fails and rolls a 5, it'll actually destroy this thing. But let's do the task anyway. Tips to fix it. Not enough time, so we'll find out tomorrow. What's happened over here? The Hunchback has its heat sink repaired, its entire right arm repaired, which is internal structure, I believe. Then it's also lost a little bit of armor. What did it do? Fall off? Skill available. I don't know what it means by skill available. Turn that off for now. Let's go ahead and give this extra time. Let her fix this. Again, we're going to extra time this. Put extra time all of this. Like I said, we're not in a hurry. We got months to go here. take 360 minutes to fix. She should be able to do it as long as she doesn't mess it up. She didn't mess it up. And then this is also target number 7. It's going to take 480 minutes. I'm going to give this to this guy here. And we'll see if he finishes it tomorrow. And then the Awesome says it has heavy damage. The gyro is messed up, the laser's messed up, and it's missing some armor. Let's go ahead and max this out. 20 minutes, target number of, let's get somebody regular here, you. Let's take a target number 4, good. Target number 3, sounds good. Then the gyro repair. Do we have a veteran? We do. 6. I want this. I want this in his hands. We'll find out tomorrow. Let's find out tomorrow. Everything's fixed. Awesome. And here we see the breakdown of it over here. And let's continue on our way to the next month. Actually, let's go week by week. Personnel market. There, we've had more damage. A lot of it. Really not taking this transit well, are we? Oh wow, look at this guy. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of time here to get this sorted out. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time doing repairs, at least not on camera. So I will be right back. Now we go to briefing room. And we continue to wait, I guess. We've got our units set up. We've got 1 scout. We've got 3 set up. It says we have maximum. I think I can still just assign this. But I guess I don't have to, so I won't. Like it says 2 total, one of which needs to be a scout. I think I only have to do that many. Let's go and dance a day. There we go. There it's generated some battles for us. Both on the same day, and they'll both be on Saturdays. We haven't had any more problems here, right? Oh, it even says over here, new scenarios. Hold the line in extraction. We'll go ahead and advance carefully that direction. So how many of these mechs we're actually supposed to be fighting in this next battle? It's Baker from Avalanche. So this one and the Command Lance is supposed to be doing the extraction. Right? Yeah. So I need Baker and the extraction to be working right. Command Lance needs worked on. And the Hunchback. So the Hunchback and the Awesome take priority. Which are the most heavily damaged. Thanks a lot. Tech crew. Fix that, please. Fix that, please. Okay. find out if the heat sink is fixed tomorrow. Or leg, let's get the regulars on this. I don't want any mistakes. Let you finish that one out. Okay, awesome. The engine itself is in trouble. Okay, where's the veteran? Target number 4. It's going to take. We'll find out tomorrow if you succeed. The head is damaged. Here's more armor. Stop failing, please. Let's get some more regulars on some of these. Nobody has 480 minutes to spend on this, so I'll let you go on that. I'll let you go on this. And this regular can go on that. Figure that out tomorrow. Stinger just has a little quick repair here. Alright. Advance a day. Things are fixed, supposedly. Who was working on this? None of you? Okay, you were working on this. You fixed it. And who was working on this? Alright. The important things are fixed. This probably has more work to be done. I don't know who's working on it though. Doesn't really matter. So tomorrow, Sunday, we have our battles. And that will bring us to a close for today. So, excited to get started on some of this stuff. Like I said, I've got to wait for things to get fixed as far as the bot stuff goes. But I'm sure that'll sort itself out. Till then, let's see. Automatically assign the units. Yeah, Baker Lance and requesting Gunner's Command Lance. Let's see what we're fighting though. That'd be interesting. So the Baker Lance is a Dervish, Hunchback, Whitworth, and Vulcan. We have allied Free World League of a Cronus and a Wolver. I don't know what a Cronus is. Can I see that from here? Not really. And we're going to be fighting a Locust, a Saladin, a Trebuchet, a Regulator, a Harasser, a Scorpion, a lot of vehicles. So even though I did change out the settings a little bit, we're still got a lot of vehicles. But we do have a few mechs here that'll be fun to fight. Trebuchet is probably potentially the most dangerous of that, but I think we got that well in hand with this lance. Let's see what's looking on the other one. Of course, we have an Awesome, a Battle Master, an Ostrock, and a Crusader on our side. We have allies of a Jenner and a Wasp. Do we have to keep them alive? Hope not. It says down here, actually. Player must survive. Each one destroyed results in a 1-point penalty. 66% units for the following forces survive: Free Worlds League and us for at least 12 turns. There's civilians. Oh, we're extracting civilians. Joy. What are we fighting? A Vulcan, a Trebuchet, a Padilla, a Manticore, 2 Vedettis, a Prowler, another Vedetti, tracked APC, 2 APCs, a Saracen, and a Regulator. That might be a tall order. We'll see. We'll see. They will be distracted by the civilians here, who are in a flatbed truck, a dump truck, a troop carrier, and whatever this Augustus is. Sounds cool. Gonna keep them alive. Right. Well, we gotta have that fun next time. So until then, crash and burn.